What's going on, everyone? Hope you're all having a great day. Anakin vs. Obi Wan is one of the best lightsaber duels in the entire saga, but why did Anakin really lose to Obi Wan in this climactic battle? Let's dive into it. The Revenge of the Sith novelization by Matthew Stover gives some insight into this duel, but to really get an understanding as of why Anakin lost, we'll have to dive into Anakin and Obi-Wan's fighting styles and personalities. Both Anakin and Obi-Wan knew each other insanely well, as they had many sparring matches over the years, as Obi-Wan was the one who trained Anakin, so they knew each other's strengths and weaknesses. Obi-Wan was a user of Form 3, also known as Sorisu, which is the defensive form of lightsaber combat, which focused on conserving energy to outlast your opponent. Mace Windu called Obi-Wan the master of this form, and was part of the reason why they sent Obi-Wan to Utapau to face General Grievous. Obi-Wan might have been one of the least Force-attuned Jedi in the entire Jedi Order. He was a master of battle strategy, and by the end of the Clone Wars was one of the most powerful Jedi the Order had. Anakin was a user of Form 5, the Gem Show variant, which focused on powerful strikes and overpowering your opponent. Anakin was much younger and faster than Obi-Wan. While Anakin was a genius in battle, he didn't have the same level of battle experience that Obi-Wan had. Anakin was also not great at controlling his emotions. During his battle with Count Dooku on the Invisible Hand, the Revenge of the Sith novelization refers to Anakin as a ticking time bomb, where at any moment he could snap and give into his rage, which in fact that's what he did to overpower Dooku in their duel. While Anakin was incredibly powerful after fully giving into the dark side, he gained too much power too quickly and it went to his head a bit. Throughout their fight, Anakin was on the aggression, pushing Obi-Wan back, forcing his former master on the defensive. As the duel went on, Anakin became frustrated that he couldn't break through Obi-Wan's defenses. Even though he was more of a defensive fighter, Obi-Wan was on the defense for another reason, and that was his attachment to Anakin. He didn't want to end the boy he had spent so much time with throughout the years. The boy he promised his dying master he would train. He loved Anakin as a brother. Obi-Wan knew about Anakin's relationship with Padme, but chose to be silent because it made Anakin happy. This passage from the Revenge of the Sith novelization goes into further detail about this. The man he faced with everything Obi-Wan had devoted his life to destroying. Murderer, traitor, fallen Jedi, Lord of the Sith, and here, and now, despite it all, Obi-Wan still loved him. Yoda had said it, flat out. Allow such attachments to pass out of one's life, a Jedi must. But Obi-Wan had never let himself understand. He had argued for Anakin, made excuses, covered for him again and again and again. All the while this attachment he denied ever feeling had blinded him to the dark path his best friend walked. Obi-Wan knew there was, in the end, only one answer for attachment. He let it go. Finally, Obi-Wan made the choice that if he was going to win this duel, he'd have to end Anakin. Obi-Wan backflipped onto the high ground and proclaimed that this duel was over. Obi-Wan knew this would just enrage Anakin, as Obi-Wan was just baiting Anakin to attack him. Obi-Wan knew Anakin wanted to prove himself. Anakin was also obsessed with Obi-Wan's duel against Darth Maul, and how Obi-Wan overcame the high ground in that fight, as Anakin even programmed a training droid to fight and look exactly like Darth Maul. Giving in to his own arrogance and ego, Anakin jumped at Obi-Wan, as Kenobi ended the duel with one swift strike. This duel was finally over because of Anakin's need for victory. The Chosen One was defeated. Even though Anakin was more physically gifted, Obi-Wan was able to outsmart his former apprentice that he knew so well. After finding out about the results of this duel, Palpatine was shocked, but believed the only reason why Obi-Wan won was because he knew Anakin so well, that if Obi-Wan never trained Anakin, that Anakin would have easily have overpowered Obi-Wan. If there was no high ground and the fight just continued on, I believe Anakin would have won. But because of Obi-Wan's fighting style, being the master of defense, and his insider knowledge of Anakin and Anakin's personality, it proved to be a bad matchup for Anakin on that day, as this loss would change Anakin's life forever. And not to mention, Obi-Wan used the most powerful thing in the history of Star Wars, the high ground. Obi-Wan was able to beat Anakin even with how powerful Anakin had become after fully tapping into the dark side, which honestly is really impressive. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.